after the third album and all the politics and everything, you sort of were you guys then touring and did you start thinking,
Yeah.
well, we're going to go our independent route as Changing Faces, or the industry has changed? Was there space for us? What was it like for
Yeah,
you?
we felt it. We felt the industry kind of changing. And I think that uh and we felt that the support wasn't there, like it had been for the past two albums. So it was not as vibrant of a time, I should say,
Yeah.
as our past two albums, because it was just, like you said, the industry was changing, the support wasn't there. And you know what it does? It just takes the wind out of you. And that's when the business takes control. And that's when the business is like, this is not fun. I don't we might want to just take a break, because you don't feel you're being appreciated,
Yeah.
or you don't feel like you're being appreciated. And that's that at that point, that's when it was like, I think I may have mentioned maybe we need to take a break, and that's when we severed ties with Atlantic Records.
Yeah. Now,
Hmm.
the one thing is that when you guys are a part of a group, do you guys live in where were you living? Where were you living? New York? Back still living in New York?
With New Jersey, and Sharice was upstate New York. Hmm.
Okay, so I
Hmm.
always wonder about groups. Do you have to stay
Hmm.
near each other because you have to go and talk?
Oh,
Could you go live in Los
no.
Angeles and she's
Yeah,
out
we live,
in
yes,
Canada?
yeah. And then you can meet, and yeah, you can. There are groups that live all over the place, and then you meet at the destination. I mean, the promoter has to get you there from wherever you are. So
Okay,
yeah, you can live wherever. But we still lived in right neighboring states. I was New Jersey,
okay.
she was New York. Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
so when you guys started, you're in
Mhm.
college, young and excited and stuff. I've heard stories about, not about you guys, but just how the business and actually the work can change things. I've seen the Five Heartbeats, I've seen the Temptations,
Yes.
and it must be challenging, especially as a group, through the ups and downs and stuff. How did you guys maintain a good friendship throughout the ups and downs of of releasing three
Yeah.
albums?
It goes through the ups and downs. It's hard to maintain. It goes through the ups and downs because the business gets in the way, and it's just on all avenues. And even from when you're in a group, if you I know you spoke to group members, you you can feel like you're getting taken advantage of from the label, and then you can also feel like other group members are not doing their part or whatever. So it's a lot. It's a lot. So it goes up and down. It's
But
like, mhm.
is there anything that do you guys, and I always wonder if you guys would write, like, when we start off, like, we'll always promise
Mhm.
to always tell each other the truth and be supportive, so then you
Uh-huh.
bring out that little list and say, remember what we wrote when we
I
were 5 years.
wish I wish we would have done that, but no, we never did that. That's a good thing to do. And I probably tell any group I know, write down that so that you'll have something to go back to, and you can be responsible for, what you promised. And this way, yeah, no, we had nothing like that.
Wow. So you guys sort of, after the third album, you sort of we don't hear anything from you guys
Mm-hmm.
for a while. Then there's rumors about, oh, you're bringing out a new single and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we jump off to you bringing out your
Mm-hmm.
own solo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A big question everyone has been writes in and says,
Mm-hmm.
oh, why did you guys break up, and are you guys coming back together? I mean, because it's like yourself,
Mm-hmm.
Total,
Mm-hmm.
um, because you were so much of a part of our memories for a lot of us who are of a
Mm-hmm.
certain age. We do miss that, and then but when we don't see it together, we always wonder.
Mm-hmm. Well, you sometimes you come to a fork in the road, and especially even with, and let's take it back. When you're younger, you agree on a lot of stuff. And as you get older and you find yourself, everybody has their own opinions and their own way of looking at things. So that's when that fork in the road comes. if you think back to even your friends when you were in elementary, or you might be able to count on one hand how many high school friends you have.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You just end up in a working relationship with your high school friend. You're still growing, right? You're still growing. You're still, it's like with the relationship with your high school girlfriend. I mean, you can count on probably one hand how many people that are still. So it's just life. It's it's the growing pains of life, and I feel like they do too. Oh man, that was a nostalgic time, and it was the '90s, and da, da, da. But everybody has to do what's good for them. At that, at whatever stage in their life they're at. And right now, I'm just doing me and she's doing her, and it's all good.
Yeah. So in 2013, you come up with CRC Music. What was the idea between coming up with your own label and stuff?
Well, in between that time, I had been, I stepped away from the industry, and I'm like always into learning new things or whatever. I actually loved real estate, and I took my real estate class. I got my license. I started doing real estate or whatever, and as well as writing for other artists. So I was writing. I think I did something for Jody Watley, for Lisa Left Eye Lopez. I started writing with Donna. So I was starting to I just wanted to do different things, like get outside of the changing faces thing and let your mind run free. And that's when I started writing. I had some artists that I was working with, and that's when I developed CRC Music. So that's, I had to do a company to kind of back up what I was doing. And then as I was writing for others, I caught the bug again,
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you feel as if you wanted to step away and just go behind the scenes?
Absolutely. That's how I felt. Because that's what the business part does to you, But I always said, even in high school, since I went to a performing arts junior high and I went to a performing arts high school, when I went to college, I just went to the CUNY University, Hunter College. I went to college and I got a degree in sociology. I said, while in college, I will not take a single music course. And I didn't. I took not an iota of anything musical, just to see if my soul will still pull me towards it. That's what's going to let me know if that's what I'm supposed to do. And after college is right at the end of college is when Changing Faces developed. But it's the same thing I did to myself after Changing Faces, split it up. I said, let me just step away, because if it pulls me back, then sometimes you have to silence yourself. You have to get out of your own head, and you have to just let it come to you. So that's what I did.
But you were developing your own artist, but you then decided to release your own self first.
Yes. No. Well, again, when you're dealing with artists, you know what I'm saying? Again, it's a hard job, right? So it allowed me to see things from the Atlantic Records perspective too, all that you put in. So you're on both sides, and some of the artists, they were younger. So I'm like, you need to work that out to make sure this is really what you want to do. Because we don't, time flies by in this business. And before you know it, somebody else is out and doing what you said you wanted to do. And it's over. So while doing that and working through the kinks of that, I decided to do me.
And how did you think it? I mean, I think the landscape of music changed quite considerably with streaming services, meaning that you could, you didn't have to go to all the mom and pop shops to start promoting your singles and stuff.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Did you start to see it as a good change and an easier way of getting your music out there, or did it still seem harder?
I personally, when I'm asked this question, what's good about it is you don't need a record label. You don't need a whole bunch of money. You just need to do good music, and you could, from the touch of your computer, upload, and it's there. What's bad about it, or I should say not so good, is 500,000 other people doing the same thing. Right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, it's like trying to find a diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
And now it's just not America. It's international. It's all
Yeah.
over. So it's a different animal from where I come from. The 90s were nothing like this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, go through this whole new wave. But you gotta be in it you have to be a part of it to learn it too. Cause it's a whole, it's more of a marketing world than it is a
Yeah.
music
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you have to learn that aspect. How do you market yourself, and what's going to set you aside? Because there's so much good stuff out there. I wouldn't know. Like, I would have to sit and sift through Spotify, for something to come up on my playlist, or Apple Music. You have no idea what's out there. It's just so much content.
Yeah,
It really
it is
is.
hard. But then, 2019, you came out with a full album.
Yes.
What were you looking to say? Okay, I've come out with an album. I'm going to go on tour to promote it, or
Yeah. Well, I put my single out first, Name on it, which actually was top. I think it went to 15 or 10 on the R&B charts, the adult contemporary charts. So I was like, yes. I put that out, and then after that, I just dropped the album. I said, just let it go with God. And then 2020 happened. That was April 2019. I just wanted, because I'm by myself and this is a whole new thing for me, but I just wanted to live with the music before I did visuals or anything like that to it. I wanted to live with it. I wanted to get the feedback, which was awesome. I'm so thankful for, all the fans and people who've reached out to me, and that's the only way you just have to release. You just got to let it go. And then 2020 hit, and it was just like, what the hell happened? I didn't feel any need to do music. Like, so many people were suffering. So much was going on that, I didn't even have it in me to write anything. It was just like, it was just a sad time.
Yeah.
And I felt like we were all in it together. So we were just riding the waves to get to shore. And finally, I hope we're close to shore now.
Yeah.
With so many friends, family members lost, and, I'm thinking this year, I'm hoping maybe in the next month or two, because I have stuff that I've already done and worked on, ready to go. But it has to be when I feel it. I'm real big on that. And I'll put out Long Way Home Part 2 and keep going.
So is the idea then to you said you haven't done visuals, like you haven't done a video,
Right.
but okay,
So I'll add on to Long Way Home. It's part 1, and then I can start just doing visuals for all of the songs that I initially wanted to do visuals for, but God has different plans. Yeah.
And do you are you in a position where you wouldn't mind being back on the road and touring, or do you think you've done it all from a long time ago?
Yeah. I don't think, not to that extent. Now you're more in control of, your tour schedule. So absolutely, that would be, and you can do it in spurts. It's not something that you need to be out there sweating and, and 6 months away from your family and friends.
Yeah.
So absolutely. I would love to tour.
I know that there's loads of these of 90s revival tour. Would you go on it and sing both your new stuff and Changing Faces stuff?
Yeah, I have. I've done it. Yeah, I've done that but before everything shut down in 2019. That's my show, and I already have a show booked coming up in May with the same thing. I think it's me, Rome. Is it Rome? And oh gosh, I forget who the next person is. It's a 90s show. So it's going to be coming up in Kansas.
Okay. Did they introduce you
Yes.
as Cassandra Lucas
Cassandra,
from Change?
Change Your Faces. Yeah, Cassandra
Okay.
Change Your Faces. Yeah.
And then you have backup singers to help with the edits, part.
Absolutely. Yes, we do it. Yes.
Okay. But
Mhm.
ideally, we're going to start to see more so from yourself, your own new material as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
I do have to thank you. You've given us a
Mhm.
lot of time, and I
Yeah, I was
hopefully,
gonna say, I said, how long are your normal interviews? Were they this long?
yeah, because you know what, it, it's about your story. So as I said, we
Nice.
started from your beginning and listened to your journey, and it wasn't if I just came up and says, okay, changing faces, because that's
Yes.
that's not you. That was a
Right.
part of you, but you know
That was a
we've
part.
heard your story, your journey. We heard about the industry because we're looking in and we're where you are now. So that's generally the whole thing. But as I said,
Yes.
on average, it is about 90 minutes with most of
Oh,
my guests
wow.
because they just
Well, I'm getting ready to start a podcast myself. So,
okay.
but what I do want to do is like you just feel it out, no set time so that people don't feel like, and if something's going great,
Yeah.
you just go with it. So I had a good time.
Yeah, well, see, and that's why I don't go live because a lot of everyone was going Instagram live, and what happens is
Yes.
people are commenting and you're not focused, but
Hmm.
I wanted to get. When I'm not doing this, I'm a therapist in children's mental health.
Oh, wow.
So
Great. And children's mental health?
yeah, here in the
Oh,
UK,
that's
yeah.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
good for you.
it's and so, but all this stuff is about listening to a story, and so it's very intriguing to hear the story, and to and not to miss out stuff because you might think, oh, that was insignificant, but wow, that's the
Well,
big thing.
that's why you're good because you're a therapist, so you're used to listening. So that's
Yeah,
good. And and allowing people to speak their truth. That's great.
but
Perfect.
you've got it's really been great to hear. I mean, you went to the fame, goodness. I wish I was a kid, Leroy, Debbie Allen, goodness, and you went to the school.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, you said
Yes.
Jennifer Anderson and stuff. I mean,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
that in
Hmm.
itself is amazing. And the fact, as I
Yes.
said, is not everyone who sings or went to your school made it out.
That's
So
true.
what made it different for you guys? Because
That's
and
true.
chance happened, but you got to write. So it's been great to hear your story. And I guess yes, whenever you're doing anything, it's just being curious about the other person,
Right.
and what my guests keep my audience tell me is that they enjoy the fact that I let the guests speak and I'm not trying to jump in
Yes.
and stuff.
Yes, you're great. It was perfect. And that makes sense because sometimes when you're interviewing, you can already see the interviewer thinking about that next question instead of tapping into what you're saying. So you got it.